of birth, death, old age, and disease. It is only the Supreme Personality of Godhead who can rescue one from the dangers of material existence. Therefore, an intelligent person, to get free from this dangerous existence, approaches the Supreme Personality of Godhead, not any demigods. As confirmed in Bhagavad Gita 7.20, Kamastaister Ritagyan Parpadyante Naradama Nadevata. Those who are unintelligent approach the various demigods for temporary material benefits. Actually, however, the demigods cannot rescue the living entity from the dangers of material existence. Like other living entities, the demigods are merely external parts of the Supreme Personality of Godhead's transcendental body. As stated in the Vedic mantras, Sa Atma Anganyanya Devataha. Within the body is the Atma, the soul, whereas the various parts of the body, like the hands and legs, are external. Similarly, the Atma of the entire cosmic manifestation is Narayan, Lord Vishnu, and all are the demigods, human beings, and other living entities are parts of his body. It may also be concluded that since a tree lives on the strength of its roots, when the root is nourished with water, all the parts of the trees are nourished. One should worship the Supreme Personality of Godhead with the original root of everything. Although the Supreme Personality of Godhead is very difficult to approach, he is very near to us because he lives within our hearts. As soon as the Lord understands that one is seeking his favor by fully surrendering, naturally, he immediately takes action. Therefore, although the demigods did not come to the aid of Gajendra, the Supreme Personality of Godhead immediately appeared before him because of his fervent prayer. This does not mean that the demigods were angry with Gajendra, for actually, when Lord Vishnu is worshipped, all the other demigods are also worshipped. Yasmin tuste jagat tustam. If the Supreme Personality of Godhead is satisfied, everyone is satisfied. Yatotaror mula nishechanena tripyantitat skanda pujo pashakaha. Pranopaharachcha yatendriyanam tateiva savarahanam ashuteja. As pouring water on the roots of a tree energizes the trunk, branches, twigs, and everything else, and as supplying food to the stomach enlivens the senses and limbs of the body, so simply worshipping the Supreme Personality of Godhead through devotional service automatically satisfies the demigods who are parts of that Supreme Personality. Srimad Bhagavatam, 4th Canto, 31st Chapter, verse 14. When the Supreme Personality of Godhead is worshipped, all the demigods are satisfied. Om Jnana-timirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Sakshurudmilitanyena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobhistam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Svayam Rupa Karamayam Dadadisva Padantikam Mukam Karoti Vachalam Pangum Langayate Girim Yat Kripatamam Vande Shri Guru Dinataranam. Evam Gajendra Upavarnita Nirvishesham Brahmadayo Vividalinga Bidabhimana Neite Yatopa Shashripurni Kalatmakadvat Tatra Kilama Ramayo Harira Virasit. Sri Shukadev Goswami continued, when the king of the elephants was describing the Supreme Personality, Supreme Authority, without mentioning any particular person, he did not invoke the demigods, headed by Lord Brahma, Lord Shiva, Indra and Chandra. Thus, none of them approached him. However, because Lord Hari is the Supreme Super Soul, Purushottam, the personality of Godhead, he appeared before Gajendra. So, for those who don't know exactly the story. It's about a king who took birth again as a king elephant in the heavenly planets, and he was bathing in some lake, and suddenly was attacked by a crocodile, and they were fighting during years and years and years, and because the crocodile was in the water, he was stronger than the elephant, although the elephant is so mighty animal. And this elephant remembered his previous life when he was offering prayers to the Lord. So in this chapter, we just heard all the prayers he offered, and he described many things very interesting about spiritual life, about understanding material nature, spiritual nature, and so on. But in this verse, Shukadev Goswami, who is telling us this story, is explaining that he was offering this prayer, and he was not really mentioning who is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So many persons could have thought that Ishvara, the controller or something, like those demigods which are mentioned in the verse, it can be addressed to them. But no, they were not confused. The devas, they know sometimes they become under illusion, but this time they were not illusion. They know that all those prayers he was addressing were addressing none other than the Supreme Personality of Godhead. It means the cause of every cause, Sarva Karana Karanam. It was not addressing to them, so they didn't move. But Krishna appears in the heart of every living entities as the super soul is there, and in some Upanishad it is explained that is the soul is like on a tree of the body, and on the same branch of this tree there is two birds. One is the individual soul, and the second is the supreme soul. The super soul is Krishna is manifesting in each and every living entity. He's there, situated in our hearts, just waiting that we turn away from the fruits of the trees to address to him. And that was Gajendra, what he was doing. He was enjoying in the lake with many she-elephants, and he was completely unaware of the supreme reality and so many other things. But when came the disturbance, then he has no other way to react. First, he was trying to react by his own strength. I have to fight this crocodile, and he was doing by himself, fighting in this world for maintaining his existence or so on. That's what we are doing usually when we are coming in such a material body, human form of life. We are thinking that we can manage by ourselves life. So we are doing whatever is needed. We are even up to fight with others for our maintenance and for many things like that. But it is really an illusion. And sometimes we have to come up to the point that we are put in such difficulties that there is no other way than to say that I don't know how I can survive all these impediments. I don't know how I can overcome all those troubles. And spontaneously sometimes we realize that we are offering prayers to somebody who can be above all that. If we have been fed somewhere or other from the beginning of our life by some spiritual understanding or by religious teachings, we learn to pray and to turn ourselves to God. And in time of difficulties, we are turning ourselves to God. That's how Queen Kunti in the first canto of the Srimad Bhagavatam, 8th chapter, she's offering very nice prayers. She was completely in the forest with the kid, and she was praying to Krishna, please give me more and more difficulties so that I have the opportunity to always remember you, and that I always just take shelter in you. Sometimes we are saying, well, I'm not asking for difficulties, I have already enough, I don't want any more difficulties. But she was asking, yeah, please give me more and more difficulties, because by these difficulties I just have the reflex to pray to you, to take shelter in you, and that's how I can remember you. And after she's saying also, Dvaiye Nanya Vishaya, Gange Vogam Udanvati. Make that my thoughts are going to you just like the Ganges is flowing naturally without any impediment to the ocean. That's how we want that our thoughts and mind is flowing freely to the Lord. And we know because our conditionment that it's not happening just like that. Sometimes it may happen that because of some culture, like Indian culture, there is knowledge there of so many demigods who are offering so many blessings also. That in India, we are seeing that people that are taking shelter in demigods. And here Srila Prabhupada is making a purport. Srila Prabhupada is really kind to us and kind to all those Indian people, and we see that many Indian people, they are becoming touched by how Srila Prabhupada is explaining all the purport of the Vedas, because now they can see through the scriptures. Before they were getting scriptures, or they were taking parts of the scriptures, and they were making like some business, you know. Some I offer you this offering, this ritual, those sacrifices, and I'm getting this result in this life or in the next. And they were thinking that spirituality is just like that. And with the time going on, Kali Yuga coming with the diminishing of our memory and our intelligence, even in India, where those scriptures are there, they are forgetting the essence and the goal of the scriptures. And Srila Prabhupada here is going into the purport and is emphasizing again and again how we have to go above even demigods, or above a person who can just deliver and give us something. We have to go right to the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the one who can be the cause of the cause of the cause. I come from a middle where we are learning health in this world. I'm working health, plants and so on. And there is one sage which is called who is called Hippocrates. And he says that to know the origin of the disease, we have to go to the cause of the cause of the cause of the cause. He's saying a very intelligent thing, but he is not going up to the point, what is the cause also of everything. But it is the proper way to question things. We cannot stop to some understanding of the material world, of the spiritual energy even. We have to always ask, is there anybody behind? If you ask to your mother, generally you don't ask to the father because he's not sure, but you ask to the mother, she's the real authority. Who is my father? She can tell, oh, it's this one. And who is your father and the father of the father? And we can go up like that, but by asking to the person who has originated from this one. And if we go as far as we can find the one who has no father. That is the real, we have to search up to that point. Who is the one who has no father? The one who has no father must be the one who creates everything, who is the origin of everything. So it is a really good question to ask. So so here the demigods, they didn't even move because they know there's somebody, and they are not illusion in this case. Sometimes they become illusion. You remember some illusion? There is one very famous illusion. When we go to Little India, you see a hill which is called Govardhan Hill, and Govardhan Hill is described not different from Krishna. It's Krishna appearing there, and when Krishna was there 5,000 years ago, the people, they were offering some sacrifices to Indra, one demigod, because they said with Indra we need the rain. Is the king of the rain and so on, and the heaven, and we need him so that there is grass for our cows, so that the grains comment pousse? Grow, so that the grains grow. So they are doing offering sacrifices and a lot of foodstuff to Indra regularly like that. But Krishna, this little mischievous Krishna there, he was 7 years old, and he came to the villagers and he said, why are you doing all that? And they said, we are offering to Indra because he's sending water for growing the grains, the grass for the cows and everything. We are depending on him. How can you depend on him? You depend on Govardhan Hill. Govardhan Hill is giving the shadow with the trees, is giving grass, is giving shelter in the cave when there are rains. We have to thanks Govardhan, but he was so, and he is so expert in arguing and so on, that he convinced all the village somewhere or other, 7 years old, and they say, okay, we'll take all this offering and we'll offer to Govardhan. And at that time, Indra, he was really illusioned, because when he saw that they were taking all his offering and offering to Govardhan Hill, he becomes so angry that he was calling all his Samartaka clouds, which were full of water and all the thunder and so on, and he was sending all that on Govardhan and Vrindavan. And it was so strong that the water was coming high and high, and Krishna saw how the villagers became so desperate. So he just took his little finger of the left hand, not the right, and it will be too easy, So of the left hand and just the little finger, and he took the Govardhan Hill up in the air like that. And he called all the villagers, commander, we'll protect you like with an umbrella from this Indra and his rain. And he kept that during 7 days. Some villagers, they were holding with some cane, thinking that he will not be able to do it. So Indra was illusion at that time. But after 7 days, he realized, what I do, it must be the supreme under there. So he came and offered his obeisances and very nice prayers also at that time. Brahma became illusion also sometime. He was running after his daughter sometime. Brahma, what are you doing? Sometime he was also stealing cows and calves from Krishna. During 1 year, he stole all his. And Krishna was, okay. And all the cowboys. But Krishna, he manifests himself in as many forms as there are calves and cowboys. And at that time it was really strange, because everyone was feeling so much love and affection for each and every cows and gopas, and it was a very nice year, very special. And Brahma came back to his senses, also came back, and I was amazed to see that it doesn't disturb anything, and okay, it's Krishna. So to remember that Krishna is the supreme, and that the best thing is to surrender to Him and to offer nice prayers and to take shelter in Him and be completely confident in whatever may happen, whatever can manifest from that. We don't know and we don't mind. This is the spirit of surrendered devotees, is that just surrendering to Krishna, everything will be perfect. So it is very high realization to feel like that, to experience like that, whether it happens this way or that way, that scenario is presenting that scenario, in any case, it's okay. Krishna is protecting me and it will always end up perfect for me. And what is mattering for a devotee is that I'm being engaged in the Lord's service. If I'm engaged, whether it is here on earth, in the heaven, or even in hell, some devotees, they are saying, I can go even in hell. If I serve Krishna, then it's perfect, it's okay for me. There's some devotee like of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, how he's called, wanted to take all the karmas of all living entities so that and go to hell so that they become freed. How is called? Vasudev Datta. Yeah. So these are, we cannot imitate those kind of devotees, and we cannot just ask, please give me, send me to hell just for serving you. No. But please engage us in our service. And for those who are new, did you know what is the translation of the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra? Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Srila Prabhupada told us that this prayer means, oh please Krishna, oh Hare, the energy of Krishna, Radha, please help me to be always engaged in your service. That's what we are saying when we are chanting Hare Krishna. And what is explained is that to remember a prayer at the time of difficulties, we have to practice prayer regularly. Even I'm a psychologist practitioner, you know, so we say that space repetition is how we are learning. Even in school they are using that. When we say 2 + 2, everyone say
4.
Yeah. Oh, you remember, he has practiced very regularly. 2 - 2?
2 - 2, 0.
Yeah, wow. So space repetition, if we repeat something regularly, it becomes absorbed, it becomes memorized, even in our subconscious mind. So it is very important to practice for that. And we see what is prescribed in the scriptures, that chanting the Maha Mantra, minimum 16 rounds. At the time of Bhaktisiddhanta, it was even more, it was 4 times 16 rounds. Of this 108 time Maha Mantra every day, why? It is the chance that we are taking to be able to remember Krishna at the time of death. Death is the biggest fear we can face in this world. It's the biggest fear. And we can see whatever motivation is there in this world is connected with the idea of death. We see those days there is a so-called pandemic. They changed the criteria of pandemic to call it pandemic, but it's they give fear to the people, and they activate this fear, the fear of death. And because of this fear of death, the people, they are accepting to do whatever instruction they are giving in the society now. Do this, don't do that, don't do that. Yam niyam. They are practicing a reverse yoga, you know, what you have to reject and what you have to accept. In yoga, we are doing positively. What we have to reject is things which are not nice, and what we have to accept is practice which are favorable for spiritual life, you know. But we can see that this fear of death is very powerful. And in Bhagavad Gita, in this chapter, yesterday we were reading exactly the same thing about the demigods. You know that worship of the demigods is not bringing the end result. And in the 8th chapter of Bhagavad Gita, reaching the goal, reaching the absolute, it is explained that ante kale shamame eva smaran mudva kalevaram. These are the thoughts at the end of death which determine where you are going in the future, what is your future condition. So the best is at the time of death to be sure to remember Krishna. You know? That's why we are practicing regularly. Tesam satata yuktanam bhajatam pritipurvakam dadami buddhi yogam tam yenam upayantite. We are blessed according to our practice, according to our consciousness. So the more we are engaged in bhaja, adoration, the more we are sure to go to the right destination. If we are not doing, then it is described. People of little intelligence, it is described, they are worshipping demigods, so they are getting some blessing, but they are coming back to get this blessing. Sometimes in some religious or spiritual movement, they are looking for goodness, to be of very good standard. But in the scriptures, we read in the Bhagavad Gita that goodness, it's not even sufficient. There is a result of goodness. Goodness is that we become conditioned by the idea of happiness that it gives, you know. And we see that people in goodness, you want to speak about the Supreme Personality of Godhead, they don't even mind. They say, "Oh, me, it's all right. I have a happy life. I'm doing good around me." But they don't know what will happen in next life, you know. So goodness is not enough. Pure goodness, sattva, Shuddha sattva is the goal. And Shuddha sattva is, we have to put a one in front of all the zeros. Each qualities that we may develop in this world, and there are many ways to develop a lot of qualities, they are considered just like zeros that you are amassing, that you are gathering. But it takes some value when you put a one in front. When you put a one in front, the amount of zero becomes 100,000, million, billion. And this one you put in front is why I'm cultivating all that. To whom I'm offering all that? The Supreme Personality of Godhead. Once you offer all that to Krishna, you see you can be empowered even. The little quality you have can develop in a blooming flower, magnificent. And it's very amazing when you look and see devotees who are engaged in Krishna's service and who are absorbed in Krishna's pleasure. Suddenly they become empowered, they do things inconceivable. There are many stories also about that. Okay. I just will let some space for questions, so that if there is some clarification about what has been said, or some question or realization, or yes, Mataji.
At the beginning, Prabhupada, I think the Prabhupada said, Gajan did not really know
who was the Supreme.
But I'm surprised because he's a devotee. And the way he speaks is like it's only fit. So I just do it all.
Yeah, it's a little. But you're right, because he's a devotee. In his previous life, he was a devotee. He cultivated all those prayers, but when he came into this body, this elephant body, somewhere or other, he forgot about this nature, and it's because he was really in a desperate situation. That just like it came, just like a wave, you know, coming from the subconscious and coming into the conscious mind. That I have to pray that, and once he started to pray, then all the memory was coming back like that. Yeah. And it is very inspiring for us also to see that, but because sometimes we are during the day in position where we are acting like forgetting all all that we learn and all that we pray and things like that. We just become overwhelmed and by material activities or by duties or by concern, and we are trying to do by ourselves. Wow, I will do it, yeah. And in Chaitanya Charitamrita, I don't remember the Bengali verse, but the first verse, chapter 4, Adilila, he says, whatever is easy can become impossible to do without remembering Krishna, but even impossible thing can become easy to perform when we remember Krishna. Huh? And Lord Chaitanya especially. Yeah. Lord Chaitanya is special incarnation. We are Lord Chaitanya and his brother Nityananda. They came 500 years ago, especially for us, for this Kali Yuga. Kali Yuga is the time in the cycle of ages, which is the more difficult. The conditions are more difficult. We have less qualities, difficulties to remember. That's why Vyasadeva came to compile the Vedas and write them on books so that we can read and remember. And they came to give the specific process for self-realization in this age of Kali. That's why they are calling the Yuga avatar for Kali Yuga. And the process they give is the chanting of the holy name, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. And they came, and he came. It's very special also because this is Krishna himself who come as Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Krishna and Radha also combined in one person. So it means he comes as this person and as the energy of the person, and the specific energy of Radharani is the devotion, and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was manifesting what is the life and the spirit of a perfect devotee. So we are walking in the footsteps of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and his followers, the 6 Goswamis of Vrindavan, and all the Parampara, and our spiritual master, and our glorious Srila Prabhupada, who awakened our consciousness from the darkness where we were, with his books, with the chanting, and with the prasad. Krishna Prasad. Another question? Yes?
You told that Krishna was holding Govardhan Hill for 7 days.
Yeah?
Is there a reason why it's 7 days? Or?
It's the pastime is like that, but you know, he's holding planets and universe all the time also. So 7 days is not a limitation. Yeah. You have a... Ah, tu pas entendu. Why Krishna is holding Govardhaning 7 days specifically?
7 days.
Why only 7 days?
Yeah.
That's the
Yeah.
question.
Yeah.
I got other things to do. Maybe it was good then.
Yeah, I must know why 7 and not 6.
Yeah.
It was special because for 7 days, usually Krishna goes herd the cows and with his boyfriend, and then evening meet the goat. But like everybody was with him 24 hours a day for 7 days.
Yeah.
They did not feel hunger, they did not feel any pain, any disturbance.
Those 7 days, it was the time it took for Indra to come back to his mind, you know, to his senses. What am I doing? Brahma, it was worse. It was 1 year.
1 year.
I have a question.
Yes, please.
So all these demigods live in this material energy, so they are not in the spiritual world, but in this universe. So they are material entities.
They are spiritual entities in material body. just like everyone. But they are a little more aware because they come for this specific duty, but they are coming from remembering to forgetting, and sometimes it is said that we when we came first in this material world, we all played those kind of roles, you know. But we played it so badly that we just wanted to try to use the material nature for our pleasure instead of for the pleasure of Krishna. So we went deep and deep into the material existence. But they are spiritual entities.
So back in the spiritual world, we have a specific purpose for something like that.
To go back?
No, when we go back,
Yeah.
we have a special purpose in this spiritual world.
You ask to me, it's
Yeah, specific service or something. Like
yeah. That's what is explained. You know, I don't have no remembrance, or but what is explained in the scriptures and is that we have a specific service to Krishna. We have a specific relationship also. When you read Nectar of Devotion, then it is explained the different rasas we can experience with Krishna, and this will be revealed gradually. We
And what about our purpose in this life? Like Arjuna, he was a Kshatriya.
Yeah.
And how can I discover my purpose in this life? Of course, we need to serve and we need to do things for Krishna, but how can I know if I'm a gardener or I'm a musician or I'm a poet or what, you know?
So your position, your specific activities in this world with this body is conditioned by guna and karma. So it means by what you are bringing from previous lives and previous experiences and things like that. It's not your eternal position.
But that's just my desire to be like a movie star, whatever. Is not my purpose to serve God.
Yeah, yeah.
But it was not. What about Arjuna? He was a soldier. And
But he was really clear about that. He was a Kshatriya, and that's it. You know?
I know my
Here in this Kali Yuga, it's very difficult. Sometimes in India we see that they are determining in which varna you are according to which family you are coming from. So they are saying you took birth in a Brahmana family, and so you are a Brahmana. But it is said in the scriptures also that you are defined by your specific qualities, and qualities may not depend on which family you are coming. It tends to, but it's not obvious. Sometimes it's quite difficult to determine, but it can be done by astrology of things like that, which can determine how you took your birth, your body at that time. Yeah, the configuration means you are this tendency. But you can also feel like what is your natural tendencies. But as the Vedic culture is not established completely, it's quite difficult to see, and it's difficult to just be in your natural propensity. Because there is a lot of confusion there. There is a lot of misunderstanding how to educate people. The system of the education, they are just like global and giving the same thing to everyone, and impeding people to express their natural tendencies or things like that. It's not properly done. If it would be properly done, then your natural tendency will be detected much early, and you will be trained in those propensities. It may come sometime. Srila Prabhupada said, I did just half of my purpose. The other half is to establish the Varnashram Dharma, means clarifying what is your engagement in this life and be trained for that, and have a natural progression to life also to the 4 ashrams. So this is starting gradually to become established, but it is It's not so easy. But there are plenty of books and training to go more and more in this way. If you want to know for yourself, you may feel and sense that there are some workshops which are done for trying to feel what is my real temper, what are my tendencies, what do I like. There are many things which are existing now more and more.
I want to add, when you become devotee of Krishna, you can have a qualified critic Brahman, the head of society, learning and teaching others as their main duties and doing sacrifice. But we're doing this, especially in the beginning, we do the needful. It's like, oh, I'm a kshatriya, I'm not doing this, I'm not washing the clothes, I'm not cleaning the temple. So service to Krishna is a little transcendental. But a lot. It is not at the beginning, but we should use our propensities.
Yeah.
Definitely. In fact, that's what will make you satisfied. We have certain propensity, use them for Krishna. And then I heard the story of, because sometimes, the needful is, you cannot wash clothes for 20 years. I heard the story of there was a PhD in Russia, a great scientist, and they asked him to wash the pots for a few years. So after a while, he just said goodbye, So it is a bad example of not, I got propensity to write. I'm writing books, magazine, and lots of magazine. So it's like, it's also good, because Krishna gives us certain talents. We have to use them,
Yeah.
And sometimes there's emergency, but we cannot be all our life, devotional life, an emergency, That's the problem sometimes, right?
On the question how we deal with that in our movement, it is very important, as Mataji was mentioning, is that in the beginning, there is several stages in the devotional service, And the first stage, we are in a unsteady devotional practice. And the first symptom of this unsteady spiritual practice is utsahamai. It's a space where we are really enthusiastic. We come to Krishna consciousness, it's so new and it's so magnificent, and we are learning so many new things that we are very enthusiastic. And at that time, it's very important that we get trained in proper devotional behaviors. So, like surrendering, do whatever is needed, and things like that. So we can be engaged in so many different things, and we are learning to be steady in our sadhana, in our practice, and it's very important because it will be the foundation for all our spiritual life. So it is very important. But after some time, the next symptom of this unsteady devotional service is ganatarala. It means it's condensed or diluted. So sometimes you are really in the fire, and sometimes you don't know why. The mind is there, a little more pulling you here and there, and you don't know. And at that time, that's where it is important to know what is your propensity, what are your really propensity, what do you like in life. Do you want to worship in the temple? That's you see yourself doing that all the time. Are you somebody who like to manage things, or are you? Do you like to go and preach to people, or do you like to farm and grow? And when you see what is the activity, the different activities you may experience, what is the one where you are the most happy, this is the symptom that you are properly situated. Then it can give you the idea, oh, that's what I like to do. And what is important then is to see with the authority of the temple that I would like to be engaged more in that type of service, because that's what I really like to do. If you give me this service, I will transcend, I will explode, I will find new ways to improve the service and things like that. And the temple managers, they will be very happy. They prefer to have devotees who are really enthusiastic to do what they like to do than to just put everyone in the different halls so that everything stands together. You know, for them it's very difficult to be like that. It's unsteady. It's okay for you?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, I thank you for everyone to engage me in your service like that, to express whatever I heard from the Acharyas and Srila Prabhupada. And Grantaraj Srimad Bhagavatam ki, Srila Prabhupada ki, Nitai Gaura Premanande.